What's up, all my winners? And today we bring you an educational video. Today we're gonna be showing you how to tint a back window step by step, guys. Every little step, every detail. There's a lot of videos out there that shows you guys how to tint back windows, but they're missing a lot of steps. In this video, we're gonna show you something detailed. Stay tuned because you're not gonna wanna miss this. Take it away, Caesar.
So the first thing you'll be learning today as a new window tinter is how to clean the outside of a back window. Let's talk about spray bottles. So usually we have a bottle like this. Some people use different bottles, spray gallons and stuff like that. We use this, something simple, cheap, easy to carry. So what we're gonna do is fill this bottle up around up to here, and then we're gonna take some of this dish detergent soap, put about 4 to 8 drops in there. I can't really tell you exactly how much soap to use because some people like it slippery, some people like it dry. So in order to do this properly, you're gonna need some tools. So the first tool you're gonna be needing to clean the outside of the back window is a blue scrub pad. It's scratch safe, it doesn't scratch the glass or nothing like that. And sometimes what we do is we attach this to this gray handle. That way it's easier to get into hard to reach places. So the next tool you're gonna be using to clean the outside of the back window is this cleaning squeegee. Now after we're done cleaning the outside window, what you need to do is check on the inside of the glass and make sure there's no residue like glue from stickers or templates that may have been there before, and it's hard to notice it if you don't look thoroughly. Sometimes we get cars that come in here where had the windows tinted, somebody ripped it off, left residue behind, and that's why you have to make sure that the window's spotless before we install the new film. After you're done checking the back window for any glue or residue left behind, you're not gonna clean it off with a razor blade or with this blue pad. What you're gonna use to clean it is this steel wool, 3 zeros. And if the glue is stubborn, then you're gonna wanna use awesome. So the reason we use this steel wool is because the back window has defroster lines on it. Anything else will mess it up, and this is a very safe way to take out any glue from the back window. So after you clean the window and you check it out from the inside out, making sure there's no residue or glue behind it, it is bounce time. Then what you're gonna wanna do with the bounce is get a piece of bounce, open it up, take your sprayer, spray it about 4 to 5 times, and then you're gonna kind of go like that, and then you're gonna smother it on the back window until there's a hazy, white, milky look on it. Make sure the whole window's covered. Sometimes you might need a little bit more, so maybe you'll do the back window and it needs a little bit more wetness because it's too dry. Then you just go ahead, wet it again, smother it here, and then smother it on the back window. The next step is you're gonna draw a stripe on the window once the bounce is dry. So how you do that is you wet your hand and you wet slightly above the middle. So pretty much 60-40, 40 on the top, 60% on the bottom. You're gonna wet your hand and you're gonna create a stripe, not directly in the middle, slightly above the middle of the glass, straight across, so the film could hold and it doesn't move while you're cutting. Now for the next step, you're gonna use this black card to make your H, and you're gonna have to use a red dot knife with a stainless steel blade inside, so you won't scratch the glass. Anything else that is not stainless, you will scratch the glass. So the next step now is you're gonna measure the window to size so we could pull down the film and put it on the glass. Once you put it on the glass, you're gonna cut about 1 inch bigger than the original black border that's on the window. Typically, if you're a beginner, you're gonna wanna get some help from a fellow tinter that can help guide you and put the film on, being that it's a big piece of film going on the glass. You don't wanna crease it or wrinkle it or anything like that. Once you place the film on the glass, now you could cut around it. After creating the stripe, you're gonna wanna anchor it into an H position. Wet the sides so you could create an H. Then you anchor wherever you wet it at. Make sure that the window doesn't get wet. So you're gonna wet the window in the middle, then you're gonna wet the sides, and then with the squeegee, you're gonna stretch the middle and anchor the sides. So now you have an H pattern. Make sure you position it while you stretch it towards the sides, so the film could stretch the proper way once you start shrinking it. This part is very important for the shrinking process. Remember, make sure that the only part that's wet is the H. You don't want to wet anything else. Once you make the H, the film should look like a floating skirt on the bottom and on the top. Everything else should be anchored properly. H position, guys, remember, which is the sides and the middle. For the next step, you're gonna need a black card and a heat gun. Now, more advanced tinters will use a torch like this. but you know, you gotta crawl before you walk, guys. Now the technique we're gonna use is a dry shrink. That's the most easiest way to lay down the back window with having no issues. And what you're trying to do in this process is shrink everything down and make the film look flat on the window. That'll make a perfect install on the inside. So pretty much, you're gonna start from the top to the bottom in between the line that we made with this card right here. Pretty much the technique involves shrinking it with the heat gun, splitting the fingers as they go down and making them smaller. You can never shrink in the same spot. Keep it moving, keep the heat gun moving, never keep it in the same place at one time. The film will crease. I might make it look a little bit easy, but it's not that easy. It actually is a little technical. So as you'll see as I do it, little by little, patience, shrink every little inch of the window all the way down. If you miss a spot, once you put it on the inside, it's gonna create problems and fingers. This technique is, so once you put it inside, you clean it, squeegee it, and you're done. What we're trying to do is break down the big fingers into little fingers, so eventually there's no fingers. Notice how we start from the middle of the line to the bottom, and from the middle of the line to the top. Always start on the biggest point of the finger. Sometimes if you notice, the fingers will go sideways, so the film does not shrink sideways. The film has a grain, which only could shrink up and down, never sideways. So if it goes to the side, you have to make sure you push it down with your finger, straight, up and down. Vertical, not horizontal. Now you see this finger here, how it's big? Watch me shrink it into a smaller finger. See that? This is how it's done, see? Nice and easy. Take the black card and make sure everything is tagged down. Now it's time to cut the film for installation. So now what you're gonna need is one of these lights. So now you put the light inside so you could cut around the border of the window, so you could cut it close enough so when you put it on the inside, there's no buckling or film hanging on the side. So you're putting the light on the inside so you could see the line on the outside and cut it precisely to fit perfect on the inside. The next step now is to cut the film precisely so it could fit the inside of the window, about 1/8 of an inch bigger than the border. You never want it to be too much bigger, because then you're gonna have an issue of it being too big and it's gonna hit the side panels, not gonna fit, and dirt runs into it and it's gonna create all kinds of messes. After you're done shrinking and cutting the back window precisely, it's time to install. Now the next step is going inside and cleaning the back window to perfection. Make sure when you clean the back window, you clean it to perfection. You don't want no dots, no dust inside of the window, no streak marks. Anything you leave behind in the inside of the window will definitely show on the outside of the window when you install it. Now that's why this process is important to do, just so we can make sure that the window comes out nice and clean. Now, the best way to clean the back window is you take your water, you wet the window very good. You're gonna use your scrub pad. You're gonna scrub it with your scrub pad thoroughly. Once you scrub it with your scrub pad, you're gonna wet the window again. Once you wet the window again, then you take your cleaning squeegee, which I showed you in the earlier video, and you're gonna go from one side to another. Never from the middle out or middle out, because then you're gonna leave a big streak mark in the middle. So remember guys, from one side to another, all the way down. It doesn't matter if you go from the left to the right or the right to the left. If you're righty, you're gonna start with the right. If you're lefty, you're gonna start with the left. What's important is that you leave no streak marks. And as you're going and cleaning the water off with the squeegee, you wanna overlap your squeegee pattern. You never wanna go with the squeegee and go right underneath, because that'll leave streak marks. The key to make a streakless back window is to overlap with the cleaning squeegee. Once you get to the bottom and you cannot reach it with your cleaning squeegee, that's when this guy comes in. This is a side swiper. This is gonna go, and we're gonna be able to go all the way in the bottom to get it. Sometimes it doesn't get everything on the bottom. Then we come to this one. This is a bulldozer. This will get behind the brake light, anywhere you wanna get. This is the champion squeegee. Now, once you clean your window on the inside, now it's time to install the film. Before you install the film, you gotta make sure your back window is nice and wet so the film could slide down underneath the brake light and whatever tight spots you have. So the best way to wet your window on the inside is that you're gonna start from the bottom. You're gonna put your spray gun to the full potential, and you're gonna make a stream. Start from the middle, all the way down. Flush all that water on the bottom and flush on the top. Never, ever spray the top of the window, because from that, you're gonna drip all that dirt from the top of the window, is gonna come inside of the glass, and there's gonna be bubbles everywhere because of dirt. Once you're done spraying the sides, flushing the bottom, making sure the window's nice and wet so we can slide, then we go on the outside of the car, grab the tint. The way you peel the film off is you grab it with your teeth, you move it back and forth with your teeth, you're gonna feel the liners separate. You stick your tongue inside the liner and the tint, and then you peel. When you peel it, you do not wanna peel the film without wetting it. So for example, don't peel the liner and don't wet it. As you peel the liner, you have to wet it. Now this process is not that easy. It might not happen that fast for you, but if it does, lucky for you. So after you peel it, as you're removing the liner, you wanna wet the film. Never take the liner completely off without wetting the film. Now, once the liner's off, the film is wet, you're gonna grab it from one side, stick your hand on the other side, bring it out to you, bite it in the middle, and then it's gonna fall right under. And then you're gonna fold it without creasing it. You want a perfect loop. You don't wanna crunch it up and do anything like that. This method is called the Frankenstein mode. Now, once you have it inside the car, you must be very careful that you do not touch any seats, any headliner, anything like that. So the best way to do it is to pull your seats all the way up before you get into the back window. Now, once you get into the back window with the film, you wanna get the film as low as you can to the window, then stick it on. That way, it's much less to slide to the bottom. And then little by little, you go picking it up until the film matches perfect. You wanna maneuver it around to make sure that there's no daylight before you tack it down. Now, the way you squeegee out your window is the same exact way that you shrank it. So therefore, once everything is positioned, this is where the Blue Max comes into play. This part is very important. Once again, once you positioned your window, it's still wet, there's no light gaps, then you're gonna spray the window, not like crazy, just mist it. Once you mist it, you're gonna flatten it out with your hands, just to make sure there's no big bubbles that you might crease it while you're squeegeeing it. Once you flatten it out with your hand to a decent consistency, then you're gonna take this bad boy. This is the Blue Max. You're gonna start from the middle, just how we did on the outside. Except you do not make the H. You just make the one line in the middle. From there, you start in the middle and you go in the upward position, overlapping your squeegee every time. You don't wanna leave no bubbles. So you repeat the same thing on the top, on the bottom. Once you get to the bottom, this will not reach all the way. So what you wanna do is go as further as you can with this. Once you get as further as you can with this is no good no more. You put this down, you use this one. This one, you're gonna go as much as you can with this as well in a sideways position. From the middle out, in this case. Now, this one will hardly not get every window and every little crevice, so then you bring this bulldozer. This bulldozer will finish the job. You must be sure that you use this first and then this one. Once you squeegee all your window out with this, and then you use this guy and you use this guy, there shouldn't be no water left behind, only on the edges. To make sure that there's no water left behind, you're gonna take your black card, you're gonna wrap it up with this. You don't wanna wrap it up where it's all crinkly like this because it's not gonna do the job. Make sure it's even. You're gonna take this guy and you're gonna go straight up, just like that. And you're gonna go around the whole window, not from the middle or anything, about an inch away from the edges. Never go like this or never go sideways because then you'll lift up the tint. The purpose of this is so it soaks up the water. That way when you walk out the car, there's no water creeping back into your film. If it gets too wet, you always wanna move it to a different position, to a dry position. If the case may be that you need a new towel, don't be cheap, just get a new towel. Now, once everything is squeegeed out, your window should be perfect. When you go outside, you wanna clean the outside of the back window with a scrub pad again. The reason why is the bounce is kinda hard to take off. You can't really spray it and clean it with a regular paper towel. You gotta kinda scrub it off with this. So you're gonna wet the window nicely, evenly, everything. You're gonna scrub, 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 get all the bounce out of there. Then you're gonna use your cleaning squeegee and clean the outside the same way we cleaned it the first time when we prepping it to shrink it. Once that is clean, now you can see if you left anything behind. Sometimes people leave stuff behind here and there, but you know, it happens. So now is a perfect time to look over your whole window, make sure there's no bubbles, there's no water, there's no fingers coming back into your film. If you see any fingers popping up, the best thing to do is grab your heat gun, give it a little bit of heat, not too much, you don't want to burn the film, and then same thing with this guy and this. Should come right out. If it's on the bottom where you can't reach, then this is where this guy comes in. Again, to save the day, the bulldozer. And that's it, guys. I gave you every little step on how to do the back window. Now, I hope this video was helpful to you. Don't try to figure things out on your own if you don't really know about it. Leave your ego at the door. Just ask somebody. If you have any questions, make sure you just ask your fellow tinters. The guys with more experience usually could help you out. We're all friendly over here. Don't worry. You could ask us anything. Until the next video, good luck and have fun learning.
Whoa! Oh my God, that was a great video. Caesar really taught you guys how to do it right. Thank you, Caesar. And for all you guys watching right now, of course, we're going live on Saturdays, 8 o'clock at night to give away free tints. You're asking yourself, how do I get free tints? Well, you subscribe to our channel, you comment down below, hashtag free tint, hashtag winning tint. And if you want gear, of course, the hot gear, the hotness, just hashtag winning wear. And we'll see you on Saturday, guys. Winning.